13 months ago today, the worst oil spill in U.S. history occurred. It stopped everything as we know it in the Gulf of Mexico. It stopped marine transportation, it stopped fishing. We went through a period of a pause and reflection, if you will. We'd been fighting last year's war. We've been fighting the oil spilled on the surface by a tanker, and we're actually pretty good at fighting those oil spills. But most of this oil was in the water column, and we had no strategy to recover that oil. We're hoping that the bacteria digest the oil. There was a hope it'll just go away and won't cause much environmental damage. It's going to take years to figure out if that's the case. It's hard talking about something as incredibly enormous as what we've seen. You can describe a flare, but what about the first time we saw that flare from an oil rig and smelled what it was like downwind with the sulfur in your nose? That's a powerful thing.
What we'll see initially are what are called semi-submersible platforms. These platforms by themselves here in the Gulf of Mexico, they number, there's just really a handful of these platforms, but they produce right now about 1/3 of all of the oil that's produced offshore.
In this Port-Fourchon area, we're seeing the import of at least 25% of U.S. oil production. So it's the most important part of the U.S. oil industry.
All stop. Full stern.
Well, we're visiting Grand Isle because here's a community that's been battered by a series of environmental and man-made effects. It certainly took a terrible beating in Hurricane Katrina. It's a barrier island. And then when you coupled it with the impact from this oil spill, it was downwind, it saw a significant amount of oil on their beaches. And if you're running a tourist business in Grand Isle, if you're trying to rent out a summer home, if you're trying to sell bait to sport fishermen who can't go fishing because the Gulf of Mexico is closed, it's a huge negative impact.
For my history topic here, I'm actually writing about the change in shrimping technology. Shrimping is the most profitable fishery in the United States. However, it has a huge amount of bycatch. For every net, over 60% of that catch will not be shrimp. And so it's actually a really inefficient fishery. But because there is such an abundance within the bayous of southern Louisiana, it still makes it profitable to have to fish for shrimp.
Louisiana still leads the lower 48 states in seafood production. Not last year, not 2010, because we were shut down. Offshore waters were shut down, the airstream waters were shut down. But we want to get back there.
Seeing the oil spill from the angle of South Louisianans was very interesting because it kind of put the soul back in the industry for me. Being from the north and being a liberal student that's in environmental studies, it's easy to make the oil industry out to be an evil thing. And seeing the people here that rely on that industry and grew up with that industry and need that industry kind of made me realize it's a larger picture than just good and evil. And that's something that I don't think we would have gotten if we hadn't visited.